Hello, I'm Andrew, and welcome to ESL English Practice with Traveller's Guide. These lessons are designed to help you in your English proficiency test, whether you're doing IELTS, TOEFL, IGCSE, Pearson English, or any other proficiency test. Press the thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, turn on the subtitles to help you understand the video, and leave a comment below if you want to. In this video, we're going to be looking at true or false. True or false is a common question type in IELTS reading and in other reading tests, where you're given a statement and asked to decide whether it is true or false. True means that something is correct, or it is right, and it's a fact. And it's similar to saying yes or I agree or affirmative. False, on the other hand, means it's not true. This is incorrect. It's a lie. Essentially, you're saying no or I disagree or definitely not. Here's a very simple question to start with. True or false? This car is being washed. The answer is true. We can see it's in an automatic car wash machine. There's water flying around. Very simple. This is a true statement. The car is being washed. Here are some more statements. Are these true or false? Use your own knowledge to answer these questions. Rabbits usually have 4 legs. Is that true or false? Well, I know they have 4 feet. They must have 4 legs. That's true. Number 2. The capital city of Spain is Rome. Is that true or false? Well, Rome is a capital city, but it's the capital city of Italy, not Spain. The answer is false. Number 3. A hexagon has 7 sides. No, that's not right. A hexagon has 6 sides. So the answer is false. The opposite of hungry is starving. No, hungry and starving are synonyms. So the answer here is false. It's not the opposite. It means the same. Number 5. A unicycle only has 1 wheel. True. The prefix uni means 1. Trafalgar Square is a tourist attraction in London. That is true. Lots of tourists go to Trafalgar Square. It's a great place to take photos. Justin Bieber is a Canadian singer. Is that true or false? That one is true. Lots of people think he's American. No, he's Canadian. Number 8. There are 100 meters in a kilometer. True or false? This one is false. A kilometre is 1,000 metres. Polo is a sport involving horses. Is that true or false? True. There are horses involved in polo. Not in water polo. And the last one, number 10. A tomato is a kind of fruit. Is that true or false? Well, actually, it is true. Many people think it's a vegetable. Actually, it has seeds in it, therefore it is a kind of fruit. Now, these questions might seem very easy, but it's all about the vocabulary. If you can understand the question, then the answer becomes much simpler. So we're using the word true. This is an adjective. However, the word truth is a noun. In this picture, we can say the woman has a red hat. Yes, that is true. Or that is the truth. We don't say it is a true, or it is the true, and we don't just say that is truth. We need to say that is the truth. And true would have no article before it because it is an adjective. But the opposite of true is false. The opposite of truth, however, is a lie. We could say it is a fallacy or a falsehood, a deception, it is fiction or a fantasy, or a fabrication. But there's no direct word that is the opposite of the truth. We don't say the false. So if I said this woman is wearing a blue hat, you'd say no, that is false, or no, that is a lie. Again, we don't say a false because that's an adjective, no article, but we must remember to put an article in front of lie. The terms true or false describe a statement, whereas yes or no are answers to a question. However, as we'll see later on in the IELTS test, This is kind of a grey area. Look at this picture. The woman has a black and white dog. And she also has several geese. But we could make a true or false question out of this, or it could be a yes or no question. So the statement says this woman's dog is black and white, and that is true. To turn that into a question, we could say, is the woman's dog black and white? Yes. See how the two questions are worded. They're similar, but slightly different. And to see the negative side of this, a statement, the woman's dog is brown, that's false. And the question form, does the woman have a brown dog? No. So here we can see how false and no work slightly differently. Here's another picture, and there are 5 yes or no questions. Are these 2 men on the beach? Yes, they are. Is it raining in the picture? No, the weather is sunny. Are they both carrying surfboards? No, one of them has a surfboard, but the other one does not, and both means 2. Is one man doing a handstand? Yes, the man at the front is doing a handstand. And question 5, can you see an octopus in the picture? No, I can't see an octopus. When we look at IELTS reading tasks, there is a third option, and that is not given. Not given means that we don't know, because there's not enough information about this question. It might be true, it might be false, but we can't tell. This option can be quite confusing, because you're often looking for information that isn't actually there. Also, you may be tempted to answer the question using your own opinions or background knowledge, but we have to answer the question based on the reading passage we have. If the answer is not in the passage, we use not given. For example, back to this picture, if I said both of these men like surfing, we would answer not given. Maybe they do, but we don't know this from the picture. The one at the back is carrying a surfboard. It looks like he's going surfing, so he probably likes surfing. The one at the front, no idea. He likes being by the sea. That doesn't mean he likes surfing. It's very possible that they do both like surfing, but there's not enough information for us to say that for sure, so our answer would be not given. In IELTS reading, there are 2 forms of these questions. Sometimes they will ask you for a true, false, or not given answer, and these usually involve a factual passage. For example, it might be something about science or history, maybe a report about technology, something like that. Whereas yes, no, not given questions usually involve someone's opinions. So it's an article where the author talks about their views and opinions. And the questions will have to either agree or disagree with the writer's views. We'll do some practice now. Here's a picture, and we're going to look at these statements and see if they are true or false or not given. You might want to pause the video just now and write down your answers and see if you get them correct. I'll reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's review these. Number 1 says these people are playing basketball. Well, yes, they're clearly playing basketball. That one is true. 2, they are professional basketball players. Well, for this one we have to put not given. Professional means they do this as their job. They get paid to play. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. We can't tell. They might be professional players practicing, or they could just be social players playing for fun, or it could be a high school or university team. Number 3, the player in white is in possession of the ball. This one is true. In possession of the ball, he is holding it in his hands. Number 4, player number 21 is defending his basket. For this one, it's not given. It does look like that initially. It looks like he's trying to stop the player in white from scoring, but that's not necessarily the case. Maybe in fact he was trying to score and the player in white has just caught the rebound ball. So we can't tell for certain who is attacking and who is defending. Number 5, all of the players are jumping. This is false. The 2 players at the front of the picture are jumping, but we can see players in the background who are standing still. Test questions will often use a word such as all of them or both of them to confuse you. Number 6, the team in white are currently winning. This one, not given. We don't know what the score is. We can see a scoreboard in the background, but it's not telling us enough to say who is in the lead. Number 7, the game is taking place outdoors. This one is false. We can see there's a roof on the building. They are definitely inside. And number 8, the players are all good friends. Well, they might be, but really we have no evidence for this, so it is not given. Now we have a short passage about seahorses. We can see a picture of a seahorse, in case you're not sure what that is. And the passage says, seahorses are mainly found in shallow tropical and temperate salt water throughout the world, from about 45 degrees south to 45 degrees north. They live in sheltered areas such as seagrass beds, estuaries, coral reefs and mangroves. Is the following statement true, false or not given? Seahorses are usually found in deep sea areas. Okay, think about it for a moment. Is this true? Is it false? Or is the information not given? The correct answer is false. And the evidence for this is in the word shallow. So the first sentence says that seahorses are mainly found in shallow tropical and temperate salt water. So they are found in the sea, salt water tells us that, but not in deep sea areas. It's in shallow areas, and shallow is the opposite of deep. So the answer is false. How about this one? Seahorses can sometimes be found in river deltas. Is this one true, false, or not given? Well, at first you might think it's not given because there's no mention of rivers in the passage. However, the word estuaries is another word for river deltas. So here we've used a synonym, and this is a very common question type in IELTS reading. So this one is true. However, you do need to know the meaning of the word estuaries to be able to answer this question. How about this one? Seahorses build nests in coral reefs. Is that true, false, or not given? This one is not given. It does say that they live in coral reefs, but there's no information about them building nests. In fact, very few fish actually build nests, so this is probably not true, but there's no information about nest building in the passage, so our answer is not given. Some advice for IELTS reading. Antonyms and synonyms are important. They're important in writing and listening as well. So questions will contain synonyms or antonyms for the answers that are hidden in the passage. A good knowledge of antonyms and synonyms is vital for IELTS tests. Don't worry if you don't understand all of the passage, and you don't have to read everything. In fact, you won't have time to read everything. Just quickly read the first part and maybe the first sentence of each paragraph so that you get an overall gist of what the passage is about. And if there are some bits that you don't understand, don't worry. There's a good chance they won't even be part of the question. Next, if you are not sure of the answer, write not given. So there are only 3 possible answers. Don't leave any of the spaces blank. If you don't know, you should always guess, and you might as well guess not given, because you might not be able to find the answer because it isn't actually there. You can spend a lot of time looking for an answer that's not there. If you can't find it, go with not given. And finally, focus on understanding the questions and look for the specific information for each question. So don't try to understand the full passage. It's more important to understand the questions. Right, let's do some practice. We are going to look at an IELTS reading yes, no, not given question and an IELTS reading true, false, not given question. In each case, you can pause the video, read the passage, read the questions, write down your answers and then compare them with mine. First, we're going to do true, false, not given. Here we have another passage about seahorses. This one is much longer. And it says, seahorses range in size from 1.5 to 35.5 centimetres. They are named for their equine appearance, with bent necks and long snouted heads and a distinctive trunk and tail. Although they are bony fish, they do not have scales, but rather thin skin stretched over a series of bony plates, which are arranged in rings throughout their bodies. Each species has a distinct number of rings. The armour of bony plates also protects them against predators, and because of this outer skeleton, they no longer have ribs. Seahorses swim upright, propelling themselves using the dorsal fin, another characteristic not shared by their close pipefish relatives, which swim horizontally. 3 species live in the Mediterranean Sea: the long-snouted seahorse, the short-snouted seahorse, and the sea pony. These species form territories. Males stay within 1 metre squared of their habitat, while females' range is about 100 times that. Now let's look at the questions. Using information from the passage, are the following statements about seahorses true, false, or not given? So at this point you might want to pause the video, take a note of the time, skip back and forth reading the passage and the questions and writing down your answers. For now, I'm going to display the answers in 3, 2, 1. Seahorses can grow up to half a metre in length. Is this true, false, or not given? This one is false. So half a metre is 50 centimetres, but the passage said they can grow up to 35.5 centimetres. So this is significantly less than half a metre. Next, seahorses remain vertical whilst swimming. This one is true. If we look back at the passage, we can see the phrase seahorses swim upright. Upright is another way of saying vertically, so it's true they remain vertical. 3. The males stay closer to their homes than the females. This one is also true. Here we can see males stay within 1 metre squared of their habitat, while females' range is about 100 times that. So females can go much further away from their home. Habitat is the place where they live. So this question requires you to understand the meaning of the word habitat, but also to understand that 1 metre squared is less than the female's range. Number 4. The sea pony is the smallest species of seahorse. This one, not given. Here we can see the sea pony. It's one of 3 species that live in the Mediterranean, but there is no information about their relative sizes. This does say long-snouted and short-snouted, but it's not about the actual size of the seahorse. 5. Seahorses are closely related to pipefish. This one is true. Here we can see the phrase, they are close pipefish relatives. Next, number 6. Female seahorses live longer than males. This one is also not given. So we had information about where they live and how far they can travel, but not about how long they live for. Number 7. The skin of a seahorse is known to be very thick. This one is false. Over here we can see the phrase rather thin skin. Thin is the opposite of thick, so the skin is definitely not thick. So that one is false. 8. Seahorses use their bones as defense against attackers. This one is true. Let's look at the evidence. Over here, the armour of bony plates, this is what their bones are like, protect them against predators. Predators is another word for attackers. Protects a form of defense. Number 9. All fish have scales. That one is false. We might think that all fish have scales, but here it says although they are bony fish, so we know that seahorses are fish, they do not have scales. So here we have an example of a kind of fish that does not have scales. Therefore, not all fish have scales. And finally, number 10, a seahorse's tail is very unique in appearance. That one is true. Here we have the phrase a distinctive trunk and tail. Distinctive is another way of saying unique. Did you get them all correct? Now we'll move on to yes, no, not given. So in IELTS reading, sometimes the questions will be yes or no instead of true or false. But really the question types are very similar. If it's a yes, no, not given question, the IELTS reading test will say, do the following statements agree with the views of the writer in the reading passage? Or something similar to that. And you should write yes if the statement agrees with the writer's opinion, no if the statement contradicts or disagrees with what the writer thinks, and write not given if it's impossible to know the writer's view on that statement. So yes is the equivalent of true, except now we're talking about an opinion. No is the equivalent of false, but again it's an opinion. And not given is the same. Again, if there's no information on this topic, then we write not given. Here is an article about education. This is one person's opinion on education. So we're going to read this and then look at some yes, no, not given questions. There is much debate over the advantages of homeschooling as opposed to sending your children to mainstream schools. While being away from the classroom may seem like it will have a negative impact on children's social growth, this may not necessarily be the case. Homeschool children often learn together in small groups, with parents taking turns to educate them. In fact, they may be able to make more meaningful connections with a tighter group of friends. Furthermore, the chances of bullying are greatly reduced, travelling time is eliminated, and each student can receive a bespoke education with more individual attention from the teacher. And with the limitless resources of the internet, homeschooling could well be the best way forward. Let's look at the questions. So it says, do the following statements agree with the writer's opinion in the reading passage? And again, we're going to write yes if it does agree, no if it disagrees, and not given if there's no information about this. In the IELTS test, there will always be at least one yes answer, one no answer, and one not given answer. So if you get to the last question and realise that you haven't used any of those answers, then maybe you need to check your answers again. So now you can pause the video, take a note of the time, skip back and forward, looking at the questions and the passage, write down your answers, and compare them with mine. I will reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So the first one says, homeschooling can decrease the incidence of bullying. Yes, this agrees with the author's opinion. Here is our evidence. It says the chances of bullying are greatly reduced. Reduced means the same as decrease, so bullying might go down. 2. Children should be allowed to choose their own school. This one is not given. There's no information about the author's opinion on whether children should have this choice or not. 3. Homeschool children may be able to make stronger friendships. Yes, this statement agrees with the author. He said they may be able to make more meaningful connections with a tighter group of friends, or in other words, stronger friendships. 4. The internet may hinder homeschooling. No, this statement contradicts what the author wrote. He said the internet has limitless resources, and it could be the best way forward. Hinder means to stop something from progressing, and that's the opposite of what the author is saying here. Number 5, children should be given free school meals. This one is not given. There's nothing about school meals in his article. Maybe you think they should be given free school meals, but your opinion is not important in this reading task, unfortunately. So make sure you answer according to the passage. 6. Walking to school is vital daily exercise. This one is also not given. It says travelling time is eliminated. So walking to school may take a lot of time, but is not talking about exercise and whether that is important or not. 7. Children can be given unique learning plans based on their own educational needs. Yes, this statement agrees with the author. The key word here is bespoke. So each student can receive a bespoke education. Bespoke means it is being made especially for them. And the phrase unique learning plans implies the same thing. And finally, number 8, not being in a classroom will definitely harm children's social skills. No, this statement does not agree with the article. So an important word in this question is definitely. So this statement says something will happen. The author does consider this, saying it may seem like it will have a negative impact on children's social growth, but then says it may not necessarily be the case. So it will not definitely happen. Right, I hope that has given you a good idea of how to deal with true or false questions and yes, no, not given questions. I hope you understand a bit more about what these questions mean and what they're looking for and what you can do to improve your score in this section. As always, press the thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and join me again next time for another ESL English practice video. Goodbye for now.